Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Write Ambitions podcast, where I discuss word usage, grammar, writing, and editing. I'm your host, Jenny Watts, and today I would like to talk to you about writing, specifically about bias in writing. Today, more than ever, it's important to be aware of bias in your writing and to know how to correct it when you identify it. So, let's jump right in. What is bias in writing? Bias is anything that can be construed as promoting stereotypes, excluding certain groups, being culturally insensitive. This, of course, depends on what is being written. If the intent of the piece is to highlight certain stereotypes, then obviously you're going to use them. But for the most part, bias should be avoided. Biased writing can actually sneak up on you, though, because when we speak, we tend to use biased language all the time without even thinking about it. Like fireman, manhole cover. Okay, so these are just things that we say. And when we say them, I doubt we're thinking that all people who fight fires are men, when we say fireman. Or when we say manhole cover, I'm sure we're not thinking that those are meant solely to prevent men from falling in holes. But the times they are changing. So when we write, we need to be more cognizant of these types of things. So you probably know that the term firefighter is the preferred term over fireman these days. But did you know that maintenance hole cover is now the preferred term for manhole cover? There's a real focus on gender-neutral language. In fact, last year in 2019, the city of Berkeley, California, passed legislation to remove gender-specific words from their municipal code. So terms like manhole cover and manpower are out. Instead, the preferred terms are the aforementioned maintenance hole cover and workforce, along with artisans instead of craftsmen. And no, I'm not making this up. You can Google it. So sometimes when writing, we don't realize that we may be showing bias. But we need to be aware of it. It could be as simple as only using the pronoun he or him when referring to a company CEO, or she or her when referring to retail salespeople. A reader could think or could infer that you think all CEOs are male and all people who work in retail are female. And you probably don't. That's probably not what you meant. But here we are in the year 2020. So how can we avoid this type of writing? Well, let me tell you. Hello, singular they. That's right. The pronoun they can be used as a singular pronoun. So way back in 2016, more than 200 linguists declared the singular use of the pronoun they their word of the year at their American Dialect Society annual conference. I know what you're thinking. Where was your invitation? I didn't get one either. That's okay. And although that they has been used in this way for a really, really long time, like think Shakespeare, it's gained a lot of steam recently as gender neutrality has become more prevalent. So the American Psychological Association actually has endorsed the use of they and their as gender-neutral singular pronouns because of their inclusivity. So this also avoids the clumsy he, she, her, him language sometimes seen in writing. For example, a person needs to verify his or her address before being allowed to vote. Instead, it's much easier to say a person needs to verify their address before being allowed to vote. Isn't that better? Less clumsy, simpler. But biased language is not just about male and female. It's also about race, sex, religion. So when you're writing, be aware of the language that you're using. Are you unintentionally reinforcing stereotypes? Are you excluding certain groups of people? Are you writing in such a way that could offend certain cultures? Again, I'll caveat this by saying that the language you use should be in the context of what you're writing. So there may be occasions to use biased language. but generally speaking, it can and should be avoided. So, there you have it. They and their are now your new best friends when writing. So just be cognizant of the language you're using. And that's all for now. Join me next time. Thanks a lot.